Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Marky Utah, and joining me today is Nikki Baltimore.
Hey, sorry.
Marky Utah?
Marky Utah. Yeah, man.
That's better than Mark Utah. Like Mark Utah just doesn't have it.
It would have to be Marky or Marcus Utah.
Marcus Utah. Yeah, that's
Marcus
better.
Utah is like an accountant or a lawyer with like super abilities.
And, like you would see him at a brewery at like 11 p.m.
Yes,
still drinking.
absolutely.
Like man, Marcus U-Haul. Marcus Utah just rolls hard. Marcus
Yeah.
U-Haul rolls.
Look at him over
hard.
there. You hauling those IPAs
Yeah.
back
It's 11 p.m. He's working tomorrow.
on it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
We have a budget meeting at 9. I don't think he's going to be okay.
Like, how was your night?
on, Marky.
Good.
Just monosyllabic one word answers.
What'd you get into?
Nothing.
Nothing.
You want a beer? Sure.
Went to McCluskey's. Yeah. Hey, man, you gonna go to the party tonight? Yeah. I'm so stoked, man. I can't wait.
It's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Take it easy, bro.
Bye. Yeah.
I need a ride, so
Okay. I love that guy. All right. So I called you Nikki Baltimore because I love The Long Kiss Goodnight, and it has Charlie Baltimore, and you're in Baltimore.
it's true.
I guess I could have called you Nick Waters
Nikki Waters.
or Nikki Waters or Nick the Wire Rehak
Ooh,
or the Raven. Nick the Raven Rehak. Whoa. That's a good one.
that sounds pretty badass. The Raven.
Nick Lamar Jackson Rehak.
Oh, I'm not that fast. Not that fast. Not accurate with throwing either. Very, very poor accuracy.
So, Nick and I used to play catch, and I would just go where he wasn't trying to throw it. That's where
Basically.
I would always catch it, and I made Nick look great.
And it was cool because we found those 90s catcher things. It's the hard black plastic and it's different color Velcro. And we would throw the ball. We wouldn't even have to use our whole hands. We could just kind of use the tablet to catch.
Yeah,
And that helped you because when I was way left, you could just fling it like a frisbee, catch the ball and have it come back to you. So it was great.
I like tied it on a string, and I would fling it out, and then like catch it, and then pull it back. It was amazing.
Yeah.
We
tried to get fancy and put it on a skip it, but it did not work out that well.
It's a skill I can't use anywhere else, but I'm happy I have it.
Yeah, because but you never know though. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it could just be, oh man, if only, and you'd be like, I got this. I know what I'm doing. Pardon me.
You got me thinking about Marcus Utah.
It's nice, right?
Just living it. Like, hey, Mark. Like I don't go skydiving, but I just sort of, I help pack skydiving equipment. I'm that trustworthy. Like people trust me. Like Johnny Utah is like, who packed this? Marcus Utah.
Is this a Utah pack job? Sir, yes, sir. All right.
All right, we're fine. He's the best in the biz. And then they see me at then they see me at like a whiskey joint at 12:45 one night in like full cowboy outfit, sitting by myself, like 8 shot glasses.
He's got to be to work at 5 a.m. What's he doing?
And I'm there before everybody.
Yeah, just bright-eyed, bushy tail, ready to go.
Coffee's on.
Yeah. Man, that Utah makes a damn fine cup of coffee. That hazelnut.
How's he not all blurry eyed?
He's got that Utah blood in him. Whatever that means, he's got it.
I'm in a high altitude and I got a high tolerance.
Some call me your highness. I don't know what to.
I can walk. I don't even breathe heavy.
Nope.
Utah air I'm ingratiated with it.
I'm like a fish with gills, but for air.
Sometimes I fly to the East Coast and just run to make everyone look bad. How's he doing?
And then I run home.
The lung capacity on that guy.
It's incredible.
All right, so Nick, you're here to join me. We're here to talk about action hero names, and I have something I'm going to drop on you in the second half of the episode.
Drop it.
I sent you a question yesterday before we get into the episode, and this is the question.
Mm-hmm.
You get cast to play a grizzled anti-hero in a you get cast to play a grizzled anti-hero in a post-apocalyptic world. You get stranded on an island and have to battle a group of mutated cannibals.
Mm-hmm.
What would you pick to be your name? So you're in this movie, but you get to pick your name.
Yes.
So you're an anti-hero. That's important. You're in a post-apocalyptic world, and you have to battle not just cannibals, but mutated cannibals.
Yeah.
So what would your name be?
This was the third name that came to me. The first one was my high school gamer tag, and I was trying to find a way to rework it, and I couldn't. The second one was funny, but the third one I'm going to stick with, and that's kingfish.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Kingfish.
Yeah.
It's like you're trustworthy, but you're not. And you've been
Exactly.
there and you've been there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting kingfish for the job. Yeah, that's cool.
Who's that coming from the island? And all I'm eating is fish if I'm on this island.
Yeah.
So I'm king of those fish. I'm the top of that fish food chain.
So is this a water world you're living in, or is this like a totally dry world
I think it to make it funnier, totally dry.
with
Like
one
I'm
island?
not a lot of moisture. Yeah. And I'm there.
So you're kingfish.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah,
Because
dude.
kingpin is kind of ominous, but kingfish could go either way.
It could. And I like it about that because if you think of it, like you have like Chris Stone Ingram, he's an amazing guitar player if you don't know about him. His nickname, he goes by Kingfish. Bob Weir, when the Grateful Dead went on a little bit of a hiatus, he started a band called Kingfish. But then on the more ominous side of things, right? If you look at and this is a super deep cut, but if you look at, previous governors in Louisiana, you had Huey P. Long. They called him Kingfish, not the greatest track record of what he had going on, a little bit of a rapscallion. So I think it kind of covers, like you said, both. There's that weird trustworthiness, but it's like, oh, I don't know. And it kind of adds to that gritty anti part of the gritty anti-hero.
Man. Like I feel like I would loan Kingfish $50 and know I would get it back. But if I let him borrow a shovel, I wouldn't get it back.
Yeah, I could see that. That's I'm not saying that's my MO, but sometimes it's like, hey, do you still have that? Yeah, you're right. I do. Let me bring it back. And then I'll bring whatever it is that thing is back.
Money's fine. Like I would trust you with money. I wouldn't let you borrow my car.
I wouldn't either.
Like you don't give Kingfish your car.
I wouldn't let me borrow my own car. Like that's not even.
I feel like Kingfish would have like fingerless gloves to drive a car with.
Mm-hmm. And you know what he's rocking? Geo Metro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Tape
the
deck.
most inconvenient car ever designed. The Geo Metro. That's what he's got.
And for some reason, there's a roll cage in it.
Yes.
Which I've never understood.
Nope. It's ready, though. Ready, willing, and able.
You know what's interesting about a Geo Metro in a post-apocalyptic wasteland? Let's say you've retrofitted it and you've put the tires on it, you have the roll cage. You're getting good gas mileage on it.
Great gas mileage.
And you can hide.
Yep.
So, I mean, when you're being chased by these very large vehicles that guzzle gas, you just got to outrun them because they will run out of gas and you won't.
And it's a smaller footprint, if you will, so I can easily whip around obstructions they might not be able to.
Yeah.
They're thinking they got these big trucks. Oh, we'll just plow through it. Not always the case. You don't know how deep the roots of that tree is. You're not just going to knock it over. You know what I mean? You don't know if that wall, how deep that wall goes. Is there a rebar situation? Are they, who knows, telephone poles? You don't know how far they drove that pole into the ground.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to be ready to swerve at any second. Just
no one can catch the Kingfisher.
No,
his car isn't that fast, but no one's caught him.
No one gets it.
He's just got that Metro fingerless gloves, sleeveless shirt.
Yep. A white Geo Metro with the little like jazz pattern you used to see on the old cups.
Yeah.
Dirty all the time. Never clean it.
Never clean.
Never clean it.
I mean, you have to wonder if it's white or not until it rains acid.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like this guy.
Yeah.
And if he could find toothpicks, he would always have a toothpick.
Oh, absolutely. And he's the kind of guy where he would open up the glove box and there's extra toothpicks ready to go. Man. So he always has them.
Kingfisher would help you move, but only for like a couple hours.
He couldn't commit to the whole day.
No.
You either got him first thing in the morning for 2 or 3 trips, or you got him for 2 trips in the evening just before everybody goes out for pizza and beer.
He's the type of guy that won't say anything either. He'll just lift. He won't suggest how to pack in the U-Haul.
Nope. He's like, hey, I'm just here I'm moral support. I'm here to help you. Point me where to go.
A lamp might go missing.
Okay. I can live with lamp theft. It's a weird statement.
You want to know what name I came up with?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Scud.
I like that.
Because it's an anti-hero name, right?
Very much so.
I feel like when you make your name Scud, I was looking at post-apocalyptic names. And so you have Eli, you have Mad Max, you have Furiosa, you have Gibson Rickenbacker named after a guitar. You have the Mariner, you have Eden from Doomsday. Like that's very serious, right? And kind of biblical. And when you write somebody named Scud, like the guy's an idiot, but you feel like the dude's gonna get away from people. Like Scud is resilient. This is my backstory for Scud.
Mm-hmm.
So Scud's an idiot. One day, Scud's wife is killed by a biker gang,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Scud just goes on this all-out war against the biker gang. It becomes one of the bloodiest battles that the post-apocalyptic world has ever seen.
Yeah.
And it gets so bad that the locals are like, "Hey, Scud, like your wife didn't die. She just hates you. So she faked her death to get away from you and like framed these motorcyclists." And so they bring her back. So Scud basically committed like atrocities on this biker gang that's like known across the post-apocalyptic world. And then she comes back and Scud's kind of pissed about it. So he's like,
A
"You can
little,
have
yeah.
And Scud's like, "You can have her. And then you guys can go after the villagers." So like the biker gang, after we've made cool, I joined them. And then we just pillaged the entire town that I lived in.
Mm.
So it's kind of, Scud's not a good guy.
He's a fallen angel. That's really the best way to describe it. He's a fallen angel. He was a good dude, and then it just series of bad breaks, and the world created this person and spit him out, and now hell hath no fury.
Like he didn't have a good father figure. Like Scud grew up like feral kid,
Mm.
and he got adopted by a family, but it was a little too late. It's like when you get a feral cat that's like 5 and has been fighting for its life for 5 years, and you bring it inside.
It's going to take a little bit to kind of warm him up.
I just
not be so skittish.
I like the idea of all those movies, those stupid revenge movies where a guy has his wife killed or vice versa, and then they're like, "I'm gonna go murder an entire gang." I just like the idea that the wife left the guy and pretended like faked her death, and so he's going after this biker gang, and they're like, "Leave us alone, man!" Like torturing people for hours. Like, I don't know, I don't know. Oh yeah, and then it just turns out she's living in Boise. And it's like, oops. Like
He goes to the clubhouse to burn it down. It's all these awards for volunteerism and like all these donation food drives. We're the Knights of the Road. We're here to help.
We're a Shriners gang, We're go-karts. It's just
we beef with the Knights of Columbus and the Optimists. Like, I don't see.
And occasionally the Illuminati, but that's it. But like the guy just goes on this rampage and all for naught. It's a weird plot, but I like it.
That's got to be a movie, right? Like that has to happen. Yeah. There's no way that movie hasn't happened yet. It's a great story. You can go in so many different directions. You can take a different look at it. Like imagine the movie John Wick, but from the Russian gang's point of view. Like most of the day, you wake up, you know what I mean? You beat up a couple guys, take some money from people. You go to a restaurant, you don't pay the bill, and then you're hanging out at a nightclub and someone taps you on the shoulder like he's here. And you're like, what? Like my entire day is ruined now. Like you're just hanging out and vibing with a guy versus obviously John Wick's point of view where it's like, get him, John. Mm-hmm. Get him.
Because a lot of these Russian guys, like they're just bouncers or they're hired guns.
They're just hanging out. They're people like us. They grocery shop. They, whatever they got to do.
One dog is good. That'd be funny. It's like, your wife is in Boise, man. Like she just asked us to do us a favor. No one thought you'd come after us. I don't believe it. Snap. I'm telling you the truth.
She kept saying noisy and Boise. Yeah. We didn't know what it meant.
That won't bring her back. Snap. She's not gone.
Oh, my collarbone just healed.
This it's a funny movie. I just like, no, I just let
great potential.
You're just an idiot and I don't like you. So I just wanted away. And I make most of the money and I just didn't want you having it. So I just took off.
It's like Gone Girl meets John Wick.
But the guy's not good at any of it though. So it's like Blue Ruin where the guy goes on a revenge mission. I just think it's a good movie. But I love it. We have Kingfish and Scud.
Yeah. I like it. And with a name like Scud too, you kind of know what you're getting into, but you're also curious about them because it's like, well, everybody knows about him, so maybe he's not such a bad guy. And then there's that weird line that you walk.
Like, Scud, did you take out an entire post-apocalyptic biker gang by yourself and cause mass casualties across 3 post-apocalyptic towns? Yeah. I started twitching a little bit.
You want to see their blood? Just pull out a long towel. It's Frankie. It's the first officer. It's the head of the gang.
But I get one flashback scene where it just shows me like being left by my parents, like, go, shush, go. And then it just shows like that explains everything.
It's all of 10 seconds. No.
Get out of here.
No, not even a chance for a song. Just
get out of here. And then that's it. And then like 20 years later, it just shows me like, I don't know.
Just wide-eyed. 1,000 yard stare.
Wide-eyed.
Shaving with a straight razor, no lotion, no shaving cream, nothing. Just
Walking. It looks like a cat on a trash can. And I kick the trash can and like just there's cherry pie on a window and I just stick my
put
finger
your
in it.
hand in it. Not even, yeah, don't even eat it. Just, oh, he scudded my pie.
Yeah. But then I like tip well.
Scud. Yeah. You tip like 50% at a minimum.
Like I go into the cantina and I just like there's someone's in my chair and someone's in the chair next to my chair and I just kick them both off of it. But then I'm like, give them a drink. I'm like, oh, all right.
You look at the guy next to that chair. You were guilty by association, my friend.
Give them some whiskey fire. Like, because that's what we call booze in the post-apocalyptic world. I like it. This is a good guy. All right, so let's talk about action character names.
Yes.
We each pick 3, and then I got a weird Dwayne Johnson thing to run by you.
Okay.
I think you're gonna like. So I'm gonna. What can I do the first name? Because I've been excited to talk about
it's your
this.
show. Go for it.
Because we were just talking about booze, and so when I came up with this, the first thing that came to my mind was tequila from Hard Boiled. Listen, I love John Woo, and also too, I really thought about maybe doing Castor Troy from Face Off. And then I thought I really wanted to do Chance Boudreaux from Hard Target because probably the greatest line in the history of cinema when Natasha goes, "What kind of name is Chance?" And Chance goes, "Well, my mama took one." Like, so that's why his name is Chance. And it's just,
you got to like it.
I mean, and like his name is Gibson Rickenbacker, JCVD, Gibson Rickenbacker in Cyborg. But I went with Hard Boiled because like he drinks a tequila slammer, which is like, it's like made with tequila and a highly carbonated lemon flavored soda or ginger ale, and they just like slam it on the ground. He's like, Wu recalls drinking tequila in Hong Kong by adding soda, covering it with a napkin, and then slamming the glass down to stir up some bubbles. It would make you feel cool and feel like a man, John Woo said. So
okay.
And then Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch is an inspiration in various ways, including the beat where William Holden's character drinks an entire bottle of tequila. So then you have tequila. So, you know, I think just John Woo's idea of slamming tequila on the ground and looking like a man, and then, you know, just the hard ass William Holden character drinking an entire bottle of tequila, and that started Tequila, Inspector Tequila. And it's just, I mean, I love it. It's Tequila. His name's Tequila, and he just plays instruments, and he does balletic shooting scenes. You know, Chow Yun Fat is incredible, and I just love Tequila. I love his instrumental skills, and just that's how the name came about. So, I don't know, just makes me very happy on every single level.
And Tequila is one of those names. Like anytime you get a one-word name person, there's a bar. Like they have to live up to such a standard, and he has enough skill and ability, but also enough like unique hobbies on the side to just make him that character. Be like, yeah, no, he's got it. Like this is the one. Like he's any single word or the something or other. That's when it's like, whoa, like, you know, look out, because they mean business.
Like, you know, Bill Paxton's character was nicknamed The Extreme in Twister.
See,
is that different? The Extreme is a lot different from Extreme. Like Nick Extreme, like Nick Extreme. Okay, I want you to do something.
Gotcha,
Nick. I want you to say Trent Extreme Slater or Trent The Extreme Slater, and then Slater Extreme Trent, and then Trent The Extreme Slater.
So you got Slater Extreme Trent, a little wordy.
Yeah.
Slater The Extreme Trent. Okay. Not bad.
No, it's not.
Trent Extreme Slater. Still a little wordy.
Yeah.
Trent The Extreme Slater. See, now it's like, what's a Slater? Now I want to know. You know what I mean? It's like it's naming what that thing is. Slater The Extreme Trent. That seems kind of neat too. It's like, man, that's one crazy Trent. Like, of all the Trents in the world, he's the craziest.
I've never met
I've never met anyone
Trent
in my life. I've never met a Trent.
Never. But I feel like I would meet an Extreme Slater.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at AC Slater from Saved by the Bell. Yeah. We all know an Extreme Slater.
And Christian Slater had his run-ins.
He had some. He has had extreme moments in films. Yes.
And he was Riley Hale in John Woo's Broken Arrow.
Like that, bringing it back.
So and that's a thing from Deep Blue Sea too, by the way. So go listen to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, to the first episode where we talk about that. I'm actually
We're talking about Cool Kid High School.
I'm currently wearing a Slater Trent friendship bracelet on my wrist as well. But yeah,
Mine's on my dresser. I took it off to lotion up my arms because it's a little dry up here in the cold.
We can't have a dry Nick. That's
No.
not a good post-apocalyptic name. Dry Nick. But no, I don't know. I researched it. I looked into it. And I just think the name's perfect. Like tequila is him, and it just works. Like he's a Renaissance man, and tequila just feels like whiskey feels kind of tough, right? Tequila feels.
Yeah.
I mean, tequila would kill you, but it's. I mean, he does kill a lot of people, but it just seems. I don't know. I love it. So that's my first pick. What's your first
That's
pick?
a great first pick.
Yeah.
My first pick is not what you would expect. I went with Jack Sparrow from the Pirates films. Just what a great name, Jack Sparrow. I mean, the last of the Pirates of the Caribbean films that have come out as of this recording, because who knows, they might make more. We kind of find out that like Sparrow is a bit of a nickname that got incorporated into his name. But what's nice is you have Jack, which is like the everyman kind of name. You're Jack, you're John, you're James. And then you just have Sparrow on the end of it, like Jack Sparrow. Like, and it's a nice 2-syllable, boom, boom, 1-2 punch kind of thing. Like, it's such a nice name. And then also part of it too, he's up and down the mast. He's as quick as a bird sometimes. He's very quick and on his feet. He's able to adapt and improvise and go. And I feel like sparrows do the same thing. Sparrows, you wake up and you're like, I got to go find some food. And you got to figure out where everything is. You're zipping around, you're looking. And you also you have to keep going. As a bird, you don't really stop unless you're sleeping, right? And Jack Sparrow is a very similar kind of character where, I mean, think of it or not, but he's constantly moving. He doesn't really stop,
Ever.
And when he does stop, it's to sleep, just like an actual sparrow, the bird itself, or he's been knocked unconscious, one of the two, which is a form of sleeping. So,
and also, I mean, sparrows can get up to 24 miles an hour. That's pretty quick. And with extreme bursts of 31 miles, that's not bad for a bird. And they're
not bad at all.
If you think about Jack, he's very slippery. No one can catch him. And I feel like sparrows are quite slippery as well. And they're quick, they're fast, they're nimble.
Yeah. They're an underrated bird. Because if he was like Jack Eagle or Jack Hawk
no.
it'd be too much. It'd be too aggressive, and you would kind of already know who that person is. But Sparrow, you underestimate him, you're gonna get caught with your pants down.
Yeah, it's like Jack Titmouse. That wouldn't work.
No, not at all. If anything, you might get ridiculed because some people don't understand what a titmouse is, and they would take it for the literal phrasing and not like the actual bird.
And the name really flows off your tongue, and maybe that's what Keanu Reeves was interviewed about that, and he's like, "Why do people like the word like Jay? Like, what about the name Jay do people like?" And he just said, "It just looks great when it comes out of your mouth, like Jack, John." Like, think about John Wick. Like, when you say those names, Keanu Reeves says it just sort of flows off of your tongue when you say stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I was doing some research. I found this Slate article from Demetria Glace.
Mm-hmm.
And she pulled a list of 2,206 action movies, probably my best friend, and was left with 790 featuring an everyman type lead. And then they went through, pulled all the plot summaries, and pulled all the character names of that. And you know what's interesting? Of those movies, a character with the name of Jay, with 33% of the movies have a character with the name of Jay, which is,
Wow.
1/3 with one letter from the alphabet. And then John is 74, James is 50, and Jack is 37. So I don't know if they looked at multiple Bond movies and then just did all the sequels. But that's still like John McClane, Jack Burton, Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan. It just sort of, I guess it really flows. And I was doing I when I was reading through this article, I also found that like Robert Ludlum, he's like, his name's Jason Bourne, he's an everyday man. So he's in a hostile world by being ordinary. And then like Joss Whedon made Jack Traven for Speed. He's like, yeah, just the polite guy. So Jack Traven's the polite guy. That's what Joss said. And then we had, let's see, Jack Reacher. He's like, yeah, just Jack is kind of chill. And I was asked in a grocery store to reach one time, and some lady said I could be a professional reacher. So they said Jack Reacher. So it's just a really simple name, like Johnny Utah, Jonathan Harker, Jack Traven, John Constantine, Johnny Mnemonic. Keanu Reeves J names.
Yeah, it's also like they say, it feels good to say like just something, or like there's just some words they just hit really good and they feel really good coming out of your mouth. And it's just a juh.
So he said, when you say Jack, the shape your mouth takes, the breath it takes, signifies loner, hero, renegade. He goes, think John the Baptist, Johnny Guitar, Johnny Suede, Jack the Ripper, Jack O'Lantern. He said he just likes, I mean, when I say Scud, it just eliminates the possibility of anything afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Scud McGrady. No, that just like the name's John kind of leads into the last name.
Yeah.
John Wick,
Mm-hmm.
Jack Ryan, Jack 24 guy. What's the guy's name for 24? Jack
Kiefer Sutherland.
Emilio. What's his name on the Brat Packs? Jack Quaid. No, that's Randy Quaid's kid. Jack Skellington.
Oh, I think you're right. That's what it was, because there was a couple musical episodes.
Yeah, 24. Yeah, it was. They said it was kind of a beast to do stop motion in a show about fighting terrorists, but they made it work.
Jack Bauer.
Yeah, Jack Bauer. Like it just flows off your tongue.
Yeah.
Like Jack Burton too, as I think it's quite aggressive, but also he's an idiot, and so he's an everyday guy, which I love a lot. But isn't that crazy? So in this thing, I mean, 33% of the names that they pulled up are just J's, which I kind of love. It makes me happy. It's good. Like, I don't know. And also, I mean, like most of the names are like in the top grossing films ever. And then, but also average Joe. I mean, there's like what Jack of all trades, Everyman Jack, John Doe. So you just have the J name. It's, I don't know, 33%. I like that a lot. But yeah, so now I guess I should jump into mine then. Because so I changed mine. I was going to do John Shaft.
Okay.
Right. But I went through so much research and I learned about the character, right? I learned about like they say Shaft 40 times in the movie Shaft. You know, I learned about Tidyman writing the book for it and how it got adapted. You know, it was a detective novel and then it became the book. And I love John Shaft, but I never found him saying Quentin Tarantino said Beatrix Kiddo because he calls people kiddo.
Right.
And so that's the name. I found the etymology of it, but I don't know. No one ever came up with Shaft. The director of Shaft was asked what Shaft means, and he put his middle finger up in the air. But I don't think that's what they're saying about John Shaft. Like it's
right.
And so I switched it over to there's this a 1974 movie called Truck Turner.
Okay.
Have you seen Truck Turner?
No.
So
it's
Isaac Hayes and it's amazing. It's on Pluto for free. But he's like, well, tracking a strong-armed pimp who has skipped bail, a bounty hunter discovers a contract has been put on him and must go on the run. And like, so it stars Isaac Hayes, who, you know, did the classic song for Shaft. So I feel like I'm kind of connected to this. But he plays a guy called Mac Truck Turner. So his name's Mac Turner, which flows nicely. But then they put the truck in, and it's Mac Truck Turner, which is amazing. And Yaphet Kotto plays a guy called Harvard Blue. And there's a Paul Harris plays Richard Leroy Gator Johnson. He's basically a pimp named Gator.
You can't go wrong there.
Which comes back from the other guy. So just the strength of all the names in this movie. Like there's a guy named Duke that's his partner. Like Duke's a great name. Like there's people called Frenchie in it. If a movie has a character called Frenchie, I'm in on it. There's also a character called Turnpike, Candyman. Like there's some good Snow, Reno. Like it's just all the names that are a lot of fun. But just Isaac Hayes playing Mac Truck Turner. He's like a skip trace guy and who like he gets his t-shirt pissed on by his cat and he calls like a punk bitch at one point. But just, you know, but then he gets Nichelle Nichols puts a hit on him and then he has to avoid all these hitmen and just it's just Mac Truck Turner lighting people up as Isaac Hayes. And I just love it just makes me happy. It's just a fun movie, but his name's Mac Truck Turner. Like that's fun. Mac, like, you know, in the Expendables, there's characters called like Toll Road, and that's fine. But Mac Truck Turner seems more organic.
It does, and I think that's what adds to it because it feels organic. You know, someone gave him that either because, you know, he hits as hard as a truck.
Oh, he's a football player. He was a former football player.
See, there you go, and it's similar to the bus, Steelers running back. You just kind of embody and become that name. So it's a very organic, very earned one. And I'm sure in the film, do other people refer to him as Mac or as Truck, or does he do it himself? Or does he ever say what's going on Truck? Well, or does he?
Oh, that's a great, he's Truck. He's Truck in it. Like Gator, you know, people call him Gator. even though Gator
But
has a name.
does he refer to himself as Truck?
I can't think.
Because see, I think
No,
that's
so
a key.
when he goes to the military base as a
Mhm.
skip trace, I do think he says he's Mac Turner. I don't think he calls himself like, so he has the wherewithal to not
And
always call
that's a
himself.
key.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely a key, because if you introduce yourself as like, what's going on, I'm Truck, not taking you seriously. But if you're like, hey, I'm Mac Turner, blah, 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 and someone else goes, yeah, that's Truck. And it's like, what? And then he can sheepishly be like, yeah, they call me Truck as blah, blah, blah. Like they're humble about it. And I like that.
You can't call yourself Truck.
No, absolutely not. That's a give. Someone has to give you that. You
Mm-hmm.
can't give yourself that. That's
My name's
even if you
Mac.
drove a truck for a living, you don't. That's not happening.
Now, you know how many trucks there would be out there?
There's so many.
A lot of trucks.
There's so
But
many.
it just, I was watching it today and just, it's just, it's a very cheeky movie, but I just love the name Mac Truck Turner. And it shares DNA with John Shaft, which it's kind of a bummer because I want to know just how they got to the name John Shaft.
Mhm.
You can surmise it, but I don't know. I like Mac Truck Turner. So that's my second pick.
Good pick.
What's your
I'm feeling
third?
it. My pick is Snake Plissken
Oh, man.
from the Escape from New York, Escape from LA films. Just saying it, Snake Plissken. You can't say it with a frown. You can't say it in disgust. It's always a smile at the very end when you say it's Snake Plissken. Like just, and you know who he is. He's the absolute man. He comes in, you don't mess with him. And name another iconic Snake. The only other one you can name is Snake from the Metal Gear games, the Hideo Kojima on PlayStation, and he equally is badass. So you just
Yeah.
have an iconic, and Snake is a name too, where it's just like Snake, like you just you know it. He's the perfect embodiment of that anti-hero. There's good in him, there's bad in him. He's gonna do what he feels is right, whether you like it or not. And in the long run, it's good, but getting there, oof, not too great, but just Snake.
You know what works really well about Snake Plissken is I thought about doing Brian O'Connor for my
Mhm.
list from the Fast and Furious movies because like Roman goes Brian, like Roman like calls him Brian.
Mhm.
But then Dom goes O'Connor. Like there's different ways to say Brian O'Connor. And
Mhm.
I think Snake Plissken works as a first and last name. And when you talk about Snake Plissken, you say you'll go Neo, right? Or Utah or Bodie. But when you say Snake Plissken, it's Snake Plissken. And so throughout the movies, like call me Snake or like call me Plissken. And like sometimes people go Plissken or Snake, but it's always Snake Plissken. Like I love that the way that name slot like just rolls off your tongue.
Yeah.
Snake Plissken.
And it's even got this, and they're like a snake. Like
Should have four
it's
S's.
perfect. It really should.
I mean, it should though, right?
It should. What's going on? I'm Snake
And
Plissken.
you have to sell it every time. That was only three S's. Snake. So
Right. He's like,
okay,
do it again.
okay. So Snake Plissken. That's two S's. Snake Plissken. So Snake Plissken. That was five. You're just messing with me, aren't you, Snake?
You do it again.
Snake Plissken. That was one. What?
That was two just a moment ago. It's one now. I don't know what to tell you. This economy's crazy.
Was it? That was then. This is now. What? Snake, you're a wild man. Let's go surf. But you know what I like about Snake Plissken is I feel like he could hotwire a car. He could surf. He could take a submarine. He could take a helicopter.
Yeah.
Like Snake Plissken could do anything.
He knows it. He knows it all. And I don't think you could name or have another name that is animal followed by a last name that involves the noise that the animal makes. Like you couldn't do Frog Rabidi, right? Like it wouldn't work out. You couldn't do
Frog
like
Rabidi?
frog because frog's ribbit.
Yeah. I know. I love it.
Rabidi.
That's amazing. It's like Giovanni Ribisi, but like
There you go.
Frog Ribisi. That's
Like it's yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
want to do more, but I don't think we have time for it. Like dolphin, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's going to be our text messages for
Smith.
the next couple of weeks, just out of nowhere, 3:30 on a Thursday. Ah, nice.
Snake Plissken. And I like that John Carpenter knew a guy named Snake who was a high school classmate who had a tattoo on his arm that would slither. when flexed.
That's kind of cool.
And think about this: you're in Cleveland. We're in
Yeah.
Cleveland, right?
Why?
Well, I mean, that's where Snake's from.
Fair enough.
So like we're from Cleveland, or he's been to Cleveland because we always hear about the Cleveland job. And Pam Grier played Foxy Brown, which is an amazing name for a character. Not in that movie.
Yes,
and Jackie Brown's a great name.
Almost picked Jackie Brown. Almost did.
So good. But we're in Cleveland, and Snake's the driver. And we get into the car, and it's a manual. Like, he's not going to go, I don't know how to drive this. Like, he's just going to go, and just like, you're like, what'd you just do? Is this a DeLorean now? Like, you're just like, are we in are we in the 30s? Like, what's happening here? Like, just, yes. Like, oh, okay. Well, we can spend we got money here, but I don't think this money is like, I don't think this is the correct like tender for the times. Snake's like shit. Like, that's a Snake move.
Really backfired, didn't it?
When you invented time travel.
How your voice got deeper? I know. It's crazy what happens.
Oh, that's a perfect name, man. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna finish this off with my third name. I'm gonna finish this up, but you got to go with Ellen Ripley, because
yes,
like, I just love, remember in 2, like, Ripley, like, just yelling that out. And I love too that Ripley came from like Ripley's Believe It or Not. That's where Walter Hill came from. Or I think that. And then you also had like Ellen was the name of his mom, which is, let's see. Wait, hold up.
It's actually really sweet.
Oh, here we go. So yeah, Ellen was actually the middle name of his mom. His mom's middle name. The middle name of his mom. That's a long way to get to that. But you have Ellen Ripley. Weird. But I think no one really calls her Ellen, but as Ellen Ripley. But
that bums me out a little bit that no one hit her with an Ellen or an L or even an Ellie at any point. Maybe an Ellie once, maybe, but even then, I doubt it. She wouldn't let that shit fly.
Ellen, you got to call Ellen Ellen.
Yeah, it's
like like if you call Ellen Ellie, you're gonna catch one. But just, I love the Ripley name, like Ripley, and just, it's so synonymous with the character. And Ellen Ripley, like, it flows. It's not like Scud Ripley.
Although that doesn't sound that bad.
Kingfish Ripley, like Ellen Ripley.
A little wordy. You're chewing at that point.
Just the way Ellen Ripley, it just sounds good. And I love the way that, it's just the mother's middle name, and from Ripley's like, Believe It or Not. And that's why I love where characters' names come about. People are just going like, oh, well, I don't know. I guess I'll just have her first name be my mother's middle name. Like, I like that. And I don't know. I for some reason, just, I don't know, it's just so synonymous with the character, and people love it. And I don't know, it just makes me happy. Like, John McClane, right? Like, the writer Jeb Stewart just went to his own like roots, and he's like settled on John McClane. Like, so he went back to like his just like ancestral names. So I kind of love that. Like, he like the surname, let's see, I found this book, The Evolution of the Name John McClane. While the surname changed, the first name always began with J, from Joe Leland to John Ford, until screenwriter Jeb Stewart, swayed by his own roots, settled on John McClane. I just like that. And like, John Wick was Derek Kolstad's grandfather, John Wick. It's like, that's how a lot of names. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's how like a lot of names come about. And so just knowing where Ellen Ripley is, but just Ripley's like, she'll rip it, man. Like, she'll rip anything.
Yeah, just tear it up.
She'll do some rips. Have you seen Letterkenny? She'll do some rips.
Do some that's a Texas size 10-4. And that's what I appreciate about her, is the rips.
Hey, look what I got Megan, who's often on this podcast. I got her some of these.
Nice. I know the ones Jonesy. Who's
Riley and Jonesy Pops.
Riley. I can never remember Riley.
Ferda. But
Ferda.
I just love those idiots. I love this show.
I have a coworker. I can't figure out who it is, because anytime I see their car, they're like not at the office, or we just keep passing each other. On the back of their car, it's a decal. It's an ostrich, and underneath in quotes it says allegedly.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just like, I'm gonna find out who you are.
And also, there's a T-shirt on the Letterkenny website of an ant riding a jet ski.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna order it. Just wait. Yeah. All right. So what's your final name?
My final name was actually the first name that popped into my head, and that's Furiosa, because just saying it, my heart starts racing. I just get so excited. It's such a badass name for a badass person. That's someone that's like, they they don't take anything from anyone. Like, they had a rough upbringing. They are a beat down person, but they're letting the world know like nothing is going to stop me ever again. And they just crushes and destroys. And it's just such a, who's coming? Furiosa is coming. We better leave now. We should have packed 2 days ago and been on the road 36 hours ago.
Can you do me a favor? Can you say
Mhm.
that same sentence, but with Scud, Kingfish, and Furiosa?
Yeah. Furiosa's coming. Oh, we should have packed 2 days ago. Scud's coming. Oh, oh, oh. We
It
should get
changes
going.
everything, right?
It does. Oh man, the kingfish is coming. Oh, who knows what they have? Maybe they're bringing joy and merriment.
It's like your Scud one, man. Scud's coming.
Scud's coming. And that's the thing too with Scud. You can't go, hey, Scud's coming. It's Scud's coming. It's like you're showing your canines being like, oh, I'm ready to attack because Scud's coming.
Yeah, Furiosa's coming. Oh,
Run.
I love that Furiosa means full of rage and furious in Latin. And I mean, if you're gonna have Mad Max,
Makes
you should have
sense.
Furiosa.
Yeah, that's a perfect one too.
What would your angry post-apocalyptic character name be? Pissed Nick, Pugnacious Rehak.
Oh, if you want to get really incredulous with it, Nicholas Outrageous. Huh? Multiple syllables. It just kind of got the little rhymes on there. Oh, it's Nick Outrage. And then it just becomes shortened to Outrage.
Oh, Nick Outrage.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man.
Okay, so I'm Mark Incandescent no, Fuming, Very Angry Hoffmeyer, Incensed Maddened Mark. No, that's too close.
Matchstick Mark.
Wrathful Matchstick.
The matchstick, ready to burn it down, dude. And Scud's coming to clean up after me.
Not Scud. Up in Arms Hoffmeyer.
Really PO'd.
Apoplectic. Steamed in a lather Hoffmeyer.
Super annoyed Mark.
Fit to be tied Rehak. Bent out of shape.
Bent out of shape.
Vexed Rehak.
Ooh.
In a jeez. Okay, I like it. Foaming at the mouth, Hoffmeyer.
There you go. And then it just brings it back to Mad Dog.
Yep. Oh man. All right. Furiosa's perfect, man. And it's a great character, and we have the upcoming prequel. So I'm excited. Now,
Yeah.
I need to run something by you.
Okay.
So I've been thinking about Dwayne Johnson a lot lately. And I went and I pulled the data on his names, right? So I went and I figured out that movies where his character has an interesting name have a 60. So I have a total of, let's see, 30 movies. I took out Black Adam, Mitch Buchanan, Roadblock Maui, and Sean Porter because those names exist in the real world and he's playing those characters. So I did only characters that are new. And so I kind of split them up into two groups: interesting name or uninteresting name. Now it's subjective, but like the characters, right? When the character's name seems like it came out of a name generator. So I figured out the movies where his characters have an interesting name have a 61.33% tomato meter average, and they average $489 million at the box office. The movies where his characters have very uninteresting names only average 36.1% and 159 million at the box office.
Interesting.
So I'm going to run some names by you, and you're going to tell me if they're interesting or not, and I'm going to add them up according to what you think.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so Luke Hobbs.
I feel like that's just kind of ordinary.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I think baseball, and that's
okay. I like that. All right. What about the other Christopher Danson? Remember, he's part of Danson and Hightower.
When you say it like that, then it's an interesting
name. So even if you just call him Hobbs, you don't find that to be interesting.
It doesn't do it for me.
Oh, I like this. This is gonna change up my data, and I need this. All right. So I gotta put no here. Okay, now Dr. Xander Smolder Bravestone.
That's incredibly interesting.
Okay, Boxer Santaros.
Interesting. But that I know that's from Southland Tales, so I know that's the one outlier. That's not averaging 66 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's what made him do less challenging roles because of how it tanked. Like he didn't want to. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Bummer though. I think he should dive into that.
Me
He
too.
should be calling up David Lynch. He should be calling up
Well, he's doing a
Cronenberg.
He's doing a Safdie brother movie, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, for A24.
That's a good start.
Yeah,
Dwayne Johnson's doing an A24 film
because he said he wants to do more interesting characters again. Now, next one, Central Intelligence. He plays like a super spy, but is also kind of cheeky, and his name's Bob Stone.
No.
He's the Rock, and he's giant. And his name's Bob.
When you put it like that, it is interesting.
Okay. All right. Now, Beck.
Nah.
Frank Wolf.
Yes.
Okay. Davis Okoye.
Yes and no. The Okoye is interesting.
Yeah,
but
right?
The Davis part is what throws me a little bit.
Yeah. What are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning more towards not interested.
Okay. Agent 23.
Oh, that's interesting to me.
Paul Doyle. His character's from Pain and Gain. Remember the big, muscular, insane guy? I just like this name. His name's Doyle.
Anytime I hear, I immediately think, oh, Doyle rules. So I'm going to go with it. Yeah, interesting on that.
Okay. What about Matthias the Scorpion King?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the Scorpion King.
And Elliot Wilhelm.
Only because of the Wilhelm scream. Because then I'm like, I got to know. And I'm sure that he'd be annoyed because I'm sure he gets that question all the time. But
Hank Parsons.
Nah.
Sorry. Okay. John Matthews.
Nah, boring.
Ray Gaines.
Nah.
Will Sawyer.
No.
Jack Bruno.
Yes, but barely a yes.
Okay. Driver.
Yeah.
John Hartley. Joe Kingman.
Nah.
Chris Vaughn.
Yes.
Ooh.
I find that name interesting.
Chuck.
Yeah, okay.
Sarge.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't find that. No.
Derek Thompson.
I weirdly want to say yes, but I'm going to go no.
Okay. So now we're going to go. I'm going to do the math on this. I'm going to sort it. I'm going to sort my spreadsheet. And then I'm going to see if your total came out to mine. So we're going to do the rock generator here.
All right.
So Rehak. I'm going to do that. And then I will split this up. The data is going to vastly change. So I'm very excited to see what happens here. So the movie's average, they went from 440 million to 243 million.
Wow.
And then the tomato meter score is 50%.
Okay.
So it's fit with interesting names. It's 50% and 243 million. Now let's do uninteresting names. 52. So movies with when his names is uninteresting to you. Oh, 492 million. So your movies, because Hobbs takes up most of them. Your movies, it's better. His movies do better, slightly better with critics, and they make a lot more money, almost double, when he has uninteresting character names.
And I think that goes back to like an everyman thing. Because sometimes I'll look at The Rock in a film and it doesn't always hit me like, oh, that's The Rock. Like I grew up watching him in WWF, WWE wrestling, and like from Rocky Maivia when he was in the Nation of Domination and then moving on up and so on and so forth. I just see him as like that guy at this point. And I guess, like I said, yeah, it's just that everyman thing. It's like, oh, here's so-and-so, here's Craig. But then they go above and beyond and extraordinary talents. And they believe in themselves, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, so
and
this changed up my data.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to our conversation when we talked about Memories of Murder is capable people. You just like to see someone being capable, and they can have the most generic name, but if they're capable and if they're good at doing something, then that's what I want to see.
I like it. I had really fun data, but now it's changed, and I got to reconsider my whole post. But that's why we did it. This is amazing. You know what? That's why you need That's why you need a second look sometimes.
And I'm actually going to take a second look at what I just said. It wasn't Memories of Murder. It was Manhunter. Because of the scene where they're in the boardroom kind of thing. And we were talking about capable people being capable.
Yeah, Memories of Murder didn't have some capable people in there.
No, it did not. Nope.
Listen, man, this is amazing. And this was a great time. And I think we did what we planned on. And yes. I'm very excited. What's our next movie? Didn't we have a list?
I really don't. I think we do somewhere.
Yeah, we're not gonna hunt for it. Just pick up some new movies and we'll talk about them.
Sounds good.
I mean, well, you know what's great about movies is there's thousands of them.
Yes.
So it's like, no, Mark, I only wanted to talk about. I'm looking at my. I only want to talk about blue is the warmest color, Mark. Oh,
Just gonna sit here and talk about Lady Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
oh, we could do that. I'm covering that with Megan.
Oh, there you go.
It's an all timer for me, man.
I bought it 2 years ago and it sat in plastic. And I finally opened it, watched it like 3, 4 months ago, 5 months, something like that. And I enjoyed it.
Dude, one of the best looking films I've seen in years.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, gorgeous movie. Celine Sciamma, amazing. But hey, where
Bless
can
you.
people find you, Nick?
People can people can find me. People can find me rabbitholepodcast.com. There's a myriad of podcasts there, but you can find me specifically on Lyrical Innuendo. It's a music podcast. We take a deep dive into lyrics and determine if a song is about sex, drugs, or just good old-fashioned rock and roll. I'm also on the show Play Misty for me, or Play MST for me. Jason Soto is a huge Mystery Science Theater 3000 fan. I've never seen an episode, so we're watching every single episode of the show from beginning to end. Insider Baseball, in about an hour, I record another episode of that show with him, so I got a great day ahead of me. I also pop up on the Exploding Helicopter podcast from time to time, so be sure to check that out on whatever service you have that plays your podcast.
And you also appear on Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, which is just number 8 in the United States.
Which is pretty dope.
And it's currently dueling with this one for number 1 spot in Norway. We're 1 and 2. So Deep Blue Sea and MFF have dominance in there. And also, okay, so if you're listening and you've gotten this far and you're just reach out to us. We have some really cool Norwegian fans. We have a lot of fans in Morocco. Like, just message us.
I've always wanted to go to those places.
Yeah, say what's up and talk to us about movies. Like, we're pretty accessible.
I don't think I've ever seen a Moroccan film before. I would love to. I've seen films that take place in Morocco.
Let's talk. Send us some movies. Let's figure them out. So this was awesome. So, oh man, Mystery Science Theater. That's gonna be a blast. So for me, Marcus Utah, and for Nikki Baltimore, this is Movie Songs and Flicks. We'll see you next week.